Communicating masculinity, the toxic nature of competitive gaming communities. Competitive gaming has become more and more popular over the years, and as an example, this year the 2019 Fortnite World Cup was held and had a prize pool of $30.4 million, which is kind of ridiculous. The problem that these competitive communities face is one that damages the reputation of the player base. The toxic nature and behavior of these players has created an unwelcoming bubble that is filled with hate, sexism, and racism.
Fucking homo. You did. This nigga said he did. You a homo, nigga.
Here are 5 very popular players and their influences. Let's start with Tyler 1, a League of Legends live streamer who averages 30,000 concurrent daily viewers. He is the epitome of how an alpha male is supposed to act within the community. He is known for his extremely toxic behavior and has amassed a large viewership because of it.
I'm so sick of this fucking company. The trash! Fix the game! It sucks playing the shit! And I'm fucking addicted! So I can't quit! I'm so sick of this shit!
He even markets his own brand as such, where you can buy his merchandise and Blood Rush pre-workout on discount by using the discount code ALPHA. Tyler was ID banned from League of Legends, which prevents him from playing the game. Later, Riot Games decided to lift the ban after a few years. Leffen the Godkiller is recognized as the villain of the competitive Smash Bros. Melee community. Known for his ego and his negative personality, he could be comparable to Conor McGregor, but without any humbling characteristics. Next we have XQC, who is an ex-professional Overwatch player with a concurrent viewership averaging 20,000.
And while his online fame was just starting to grow, XQC's style of digital absurdity offered ample opportunity for him to cross the line of what was acceptable.
Let's fucking go! Sonic 3! Sonic 3 for 4 stacks! Go stack and fucking big God for you! Get the fuck out of my side of my bitch!
He fed off the energy of his viewers and fans and humored them when they urged him to toe that line.
After multiple suspensions, he was eventually dropped from the Dallas Fuel roster, with no likelihood of ever playing Overwatch League again. Delaware is another ex-professional Overwatch player who was banned from professional play after he got mad in a competitive match and began repeatedly saying the N-word.
Wow! You're actually gonna say that!
He was also indefinitely banned by Twitch under the pretense of self-harm for smashing his keyboard over his head, which he has done many times before. And then finally we have Tarzan, another League of Legends streamer with a peak concurrent viewership of 10,000. He is extremely toxic toward his own live chat and teammates whenever he doesn't get what he wants.
He is literally the worst player ever. Open, please. Please report this dipshit again. I report him every game, but you can't tell he's trolling. He's just fucking the worst player ever.
He's been accused of win trading and boosting accounts in high-level play, which is where he intentionally throws or win games in order to boost someone else's competitive rank, and that's a paid service, and it's against the TOS of League of Legends.
Okay.
Get the center of it.
Oh my god! Our whole team is like, what the fuck just happened?
These are just a few of the most influential players from their respective communities, and they set an example for everyone else. The toxic behavior is not just targeted towards men though, it's also targeted towards women. There were a few all-female professional League of Legends teams that were humiliated on national stages. In Vivictus Gaming's case, opposing teams would intentionally drag the games out to pad their kill scores. They would also ban only support champions, and they would even attempt to set world records on how fast they can end the match, which is seen as bad manners in professional play.
This can be considered one of the worst professional games in League of Legends history. Later that week, Riot Russia issued disciplinary actions against Rox and Vega. Riot Russia considered Rox banning 5 supports a sign of disrespect towards Vivictus and issued a warning under the rule that forbids discrimination and humiliation of honor and dignity.
In another case, there is a 15-year-old girl by the name of Bochi who's relatively new to the Smash Ultimate competitive scene, and she just recently beat one of the top pros at a local event.
Okay.
That's cool.
That's new.
Okay.
That's good to know.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh! Oh my God! Penny! She's popping The entire crowd erupts! Ladies and gentlemen, this is unprecedented!
unprecedented right now. Oh my goodness.
And instead of receiving massive appraisal, many took to Twitter to make claims against her achievement, causing her to renounce herself from the community.
Bochi, who's 15 years old, which keep that in mind, this is a 15-year-old girl that we're talking about here. She's a 15-year-old girl up against one of the best players in the Smash community, who's utilizing one of the best characters in the game. He plays as Snake, and she's playing as one of the most inferior players in the game. And she still managed to win. But anyway, Bochi, who is a 15-year-old gamer girl, I like how he says that in a very negative tone. There's this very negative stigma in some gaming communities.
One big claim is that violent video games are the cause for violence. But in fact, during the popularization of violent games such as Mortal Kombat, Call of Duty, and Grand Theft Auto between the 90s and 2000s, the violent crime rate has fallen significantly. The crime rate fell by 51% between 1993 and 2018, according to John Gramlich of the Pew Research Center. So violent behavior is not derivative of the fact that the games themselves are violent, it's the fact that they are competitive. And we can see this similar behavior in banter from professional sports such as football, hockey, or European soccer. There are also many stigmas that surround these communities where dominance and status are respected. Just like the frat boy trope, anytime these gamers feel their status is being threatened, they begin to act out in order to show their dominance. It is this behavior that is driving many away from gaming, and is a big factor in why there's a gender disparity and why it's so one-sided. As for professional esports, the disparity can be attributed to neoliberal masculinity. The idea that marketing and promotion of the organization is very masculine. Cloud9's CSGO team is evidence of such tactics, and having as dominant and masculine a team equates to winning big money. While there are no rules against women playing professionally, the organization's marketing strategies, team living conditions, and female population to scout from simply just don't allow it. There are a few game-side solutions that could reduce the toxicity experienced in these communities, such as an honor system. So, League of Legends has an honor system that rewards players for their sportsmanship and encouraging behavior. And the reason why this honor system is good is because it incentivizes positive behavior. But the problem with it is that you still find people that are continually being toxic because they just don't care. The next thing to look at is the punishment and ban systems that are put in place. I think they should be reworked to be more impactful. Because right now what you see is you start with temporary bans that get rolled out into permanent bans, but people can still make more accounts and continue to play. A game known as H1Z1 had a creative idea of forcing cheaters to create public apology videos and post them to YouTube for redemption. A similar thing could be done with toxicity in this case. The last developer side solution would be ID and IP bans. So if there's a large number of banned accounts on a given network, then the game company can issue an IP ban, and that prevents access to their game permanently on that network. An ID ban, however, is similar to what happened to Tyler 1 and would be issued to players who play the game professionally, forever preventing them from playing the game again. These solutions are only a small part, and it would require the community to step up and create a much bigger effort. Just like solving racism and sexism, it requires a massive turnaround in the current status quo. I'm hoping that within the next decade, we see a larger inclusion of the female gaming population and an esports community that celebrates an upcoming diversity.